I've got spare parts from my last broken heart. Somehow more than what I had to start. Yeah, I've got spare parts. I tried to fix it best I remembered it. I hope it runs when I fire it up, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I got spare parts. Took a piece of you, like lovers often do. I'll try to make it good as new, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare parts. What's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare parts.
Live and in person here from Epping, New Hampshire, home of three of New Hampshire's governors, politicking with Mr. B. You want it, you got it. Here we are. It's a Wednesday night, and we got a heck of a show going on for you folks right now. Want to give a really big shout out, a happy birthday shout out to a very young lady down in Kentucky by the name of Virginia. Happy birthday to you, young lady. Hope you enjoy your birthday. And all the way out to a new viewer that we have out here, all the way out in Ithaca, New York. Maria, hello, welcome, and we're glad to have you in. Hope you write into us. Hope you call into us. Happy to have it. Okay, all of these pleasantries being dispensed with at the moment, Mr. Blazeman, if you've got colors, run them up, because we want to get this show on the road. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And when I say all, I mean all persons, all creeds, all colors, tall, short, fat, thin, whatever you may be, as long as you're here and you're here legally, the blessings of America are yours to be had. And if you are here illegally, please, go out. Go back out. Come through the lines. Do things properly. the way they're supposed to be done, and the blessings of America can also be yours without problems. And we need this. We've got a phone call in tonight. We want people calling in. We want to hear what you have to say. 508-974-4231. We know things have been thrown into chaos with the Biden, not just the administration, but the Biden's reelection committee, and people are starting to bail left and right en masse. And we have even heard this evening, a very short time ago, that from of all things, historically left-wing George Clooney, of all people, has said, you know what, Biden, you're a nice guy and everything, you've done wonderful things, but it's time for you to move aside. And by the way, he has also come out and said publicly that no matter what people are saying to the media or saying in open, behind closed doors, Dems are all saying exactly the same thing, and they are not happy with the fact of Joseph Biden. But Mr. Blazeman, we've got a couple of videos to run, and if you want to go ahead and can you put up the first one? Let's see what that has to say. To be perfectly honest with you, it's gonna be a little bit, folks. But we're honest with you, I'm not exactly sure what these videos say. I said them. I've been chasing my butt all day, having to do with our issue we have here. We have our dishwasher, and you know, when an appliance like that goes down, you got to do something. And I have been chasing my ass up one side and down the other, trying to figure out, number one, is this something that's still covered under warranty? Did we purchase an extended warranty, which we didn't? It comes out to find out, and it took so long to find out. But all right, we've got a video. Come on, go ahead, Mr. Blazeman, go ahead, roll up, and let's see what we got going on over here.
Now, another profound bit of communication from the Veep. Here, Kamala Harris explains community banks.
So the importance of community banks is they are, as they are called, they're in the community, led by members of the community. They are people who understand the capacity of the community, the needs of the community, the culture of the community.
Did you get that? Community banks are banks, and they're also in the community. Quite profound there. Let's have some more financial advice from the woman one geriatric heartbeat away from the Oval Office.
To aspire to create wealth is a good thing as far as I'm concerned. If that is what one chooses. I, on the other hand, have chosen to live a life of public service. But I am all for any of you get yours if that's what you want, right?
Hilarious. That public service, none of it good, has seen Kamala Harris accumulate a net worth somewhere between 7 and 15 million, according to media reports. Now let's go to some local lefties losing it. Here are the climate cultists who think they are saving the world, one blockade, one foolish protest at a time, and they've also started singing.
One more. Stop in the name of life before we break apart. Stop in the name of life. This could be our last chance before it's over. This crap is killing us. Toss it over. This coal is killing us. Stop. Woo.
Wow. Wow. Before you mock us in Australia too much, the Yanks have plenty of climate cranks of their own, and in recent days they've managed to disrupt a golf tournament and a congressional baseball game. Just watch these soy boys and girls go. Now, the latest scare campaign they're running against Trump is to have a bunch of activist economists suggest Trump's presidency could be disastrous for the US economy and the world. This is the same scaremongering we saw before 2016. Do they think the American people have mass amnesia? Let's hear from a woman I did not expect to be backing Trump, ARK Invest founder Kathy Wood.
Trump or Biden?
Is it? The word is, so as I've said to my children, so I have 2 girls and a boy, and they're split on this. As I've said to them, look, I am going to vote for the person who's going to do the best job for our economy. I am a voter when it comes to economics. And on that basis, Trump. I mean, So, Art Laffer describes the first 3 years of the Trump presidency as the best in U.S. economic history. Not the last one because of COVID, but, and I would agree.
Wow.
And I went through Reaganomics too.
The first 3 years of the Trump economy were the best in US history. That was the quote there. Interesting. Also interesting is the realisation from many on the left, including Trump-deranged media types like Bill Maher, that the lawfare the Democrats have engaged in to convict Trump on nonsense charges has backfired. Here is Bill Maher with former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, Democrat naturally, confirming what we've been saying all along. These charges would have never been manufactured if Trump wasn't running.
The trial in New York, the one he got convicted for, was the greatest fundraising bonanza ever. He was lagging behind Biden, and now he's pulled quite a bit ahead. That trial was the greatest reason people had to send their checks for $5, $10, $25, whatever dollars to Donald Trump. So I was always with you on the one in New York, the hush money trial. I don't think they should have brought that one. It was just always going to look like a sex case, and people were always just going to look at it that way. So anyway.
That case, the Attorney General's case in New York, frankly, should have never been brought. And if his name was not Donald Trump, and if he wasn't running for president, I'm the former AG in New York, I'm telling you that case would have never been brought. And that's what is offensive to people. And it should be, because if there's anything left, it's belief in the justice system.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. What a wonderful shining testimonial to the American system of government as we know it. We've got things, okay, thank you very much. Got it back. Thank you very much, Mr. Blazeman, for running that for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw
I'm sorry, pal. I'm just, things are just not popping right for me right now.
It's the weather, it's the damn heat, for goodness sake. Don't worry about it. There are plenty of things that aren't popping right these days. It happens when you get old like me. That all having been said, what we saw was if you will, a news commentary program from all the way down, what they say, down under, from Australia. And as you can see, the Australians, and I love the Australians, I love them dearly, because the Australians don't give a damn about what your feelings are. They're going to say what needs to be said, and they say it unapologetically. They say it, and she's saying it, laying it out on a line. What's been going on and how crazy things are and how crazy the world is looking at the way things and people have been, looking upon our society from around the world. And we've got another video we're going to show you. If you like that one, you're going to love what's coming up next. Mr. Blazeman, we only got a short time, but get a look at this.
I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of 2 United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
Look, everything I've done in my career, I ran because of civil rights. I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
But Vice President Biden, do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No,
do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I opposed.
Well, there was a failure of states to integrate public schools in America. I was part of the second class to integrate Berkeley, California public schools almost 2 decades after Brown v. Board of Education.
Because your city council made that decision. It was a local decision.
So that's where the federal government must step in. That's why we have the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. That's why we need to pass the Equality Act. That's why we need to pass the ERA, because there are moments in history where states fail to preserve the civil rights of all people.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw, if that isn't the biggest indication of the parallax view and parallax way of the left and the handling of what Joe Biden's entire career, not just his administration here, but his career has been about. Everything has been one contradiction to another contradiction to another contradiction, and a waffling and a this and a that and a up and a flip and a flop and a up and a up and a up. And they want to put this back in. And now they're saying, maybe he's a little bit too old. Maybe we can have him bow out. Yeah, wait. Let's have him bow. Oh no, wait a minute. Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa. If we have him bow out, then Kamala is next in line. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have seen and what we have witnessed now is that the left has done what my late father used to say, painting themselves into a corner. And I learned what that was when I was a young boy. My father had me painting the garage floor, and here I am in the garage with the thing, painting the floor, painting and whatever else. And I'm having a great time doing it. I'm going to do this for Dad. I'm going to make him happy. I'll paint the floor. It's going, oh, look at it's great, whatever else. And I finally realized, here I am painting, backing up as I'm painting along. And I got the wall right behind me. I'm up against the wall. And I painted all around in front of me. And all that's not painted is where I'm standing. So that if I try to go anywhere at all, I'm going to walk through the nice, beautiful paint shop. And believe me, these people have given a beautiful paint job over the last few years about how Joe Biden is sharp and how he's sharp as a tack and he's bright and he's on the ball and blah, 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 blah. And you're seeing it now, and now the whole thing is coming unwrapped. And boy, they are jumping ship like you wouldn't believe. And Joe Biden has had some closed-door meetings with these people that have been previously saying it's time for Joe to go. And I think what he did with him, and of all things, his son, a fucking junkie, is sitting in on meetings in the freaking Oval Office. Come on. Cokehead, crack addict, whatever you want to call him, is sitting in on meetings and an advisor to the President of the United States is sitting in on meetings in the Oval Office. And what happens next? They turn around and say, oh, you know what? Guess what? You know what? We'll change our mind. Yeah, all right, sure. I'm reminded of that scene in the movie The Godfather when Frankie Pentangeli's testifying before Congress, and he says, "Oh yeah, sure, fine. I said what they wanted me to say. It was all lies. Yeah, I never knew anything about any of that. No problem. Michael Corleone didn't do any of this and that. I just made it all up. The same freaking thing is going on now. It's exactly what we're seeing here in this Biden re-election, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we are looking, if anybody was ever looking at an out-of-control freight train headed downhill with nobody at the freaking switch and nobody controlling the locomotive, this is it right now. And we have people that are jumping ships one side and down the other, but for the sake of the media, they turn around and say, oh no, Joe Biden's right as rain. He couldn't be any much better than. Ladies and gentlemen, what can they possibly do? 508-974-4231 is the phone number to call. We'd like to hear from you. Cast your vote. Tell us what you think about this. Do you think Biden should call it quits? Do you think that Congress, the Senate, should invoke Article 25 of the Constitution to remove Mr. Biden? Here's the thing. Here's the consideration that's on everybody's mind. If we remove him, then Kamala's in. And you just saw what Kamala is like. How many of you remember the things that when Kamala first came in and so forth, she couldn't keep staffers in her office. Nobody wanted to deal with her because she's a freaking flako. The woman's more flaky than a pie crust at a Pillsbury bake-off. She throws fits. She does what a cousin of mine once said, the so-called seagull management. She flies in, drops shit everywhere, shits all over everybody and everything, and flies back out. And that's exactly what Kamala Harris is like. And you've heard the cackle whenever she gets nervous or something, or asks a question she doesn't know anything about. And she talks in so many freaking circles and says absolutely nothing. Is there any way that the Democrat side of things can pull themselves out of this nosedive? They have painted themselves into a vicious corner with no way out without walking over the paint. You may wonder how I got myself out of that situation, or I got out of that situation when I was a young boy, painting myself into the corner. I'll tell you when we come back. We got a break coming up. But in the meantime, I invite you to call in and tell us what you have to say. 508-974-4231. We'd love to hear from you. Call us, give us your thoughts. Tell us what you think is going on. And we also have. Come back. We'll be back in about 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Politics with Mr. B. Stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.
Well, I've got spare parts from my last broken heart. Somehow more than what I had to start. Yeah, I've got spare parts. I tried to fix it, best I remembered it. I hope it runs when I fire it up, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be a perfect fit, 'cause I got spare parts. Took a piece of you, like lovers often do. I'll try to make it good as new, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare parts. What's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare parts.
My name is Steven, your Public Relations Officer at FFN Media Network. We believe that every story deserves to be heard. Every voice deserves to be amplified, and every idea deserves to shine. As a small media company, we are committed to creating a platform where content creators, visionaries, and changemakers like you can thrive. You might say to yourself, why do we need FFN Network? Well, let me tell you what we can do for you. 1. Our mission is simple: empower, elevate, and engage. We are not just another media outlet. 2. Our producers will help you build your show, add content, and put you on 15 different platforms. 3. We help you promote your show. Whether it is through captivating articles, thought-provoking videos, or inspiring podcasts, we are here to help you make a difference. What sets us apart? At FFN Media Network, we embrace hard work. Our team of talented producers and creators come from all social classes, ensuring that our content reflects a rich tapestry of experiences, cultures, and viewpoints. Join the FFN team. Join FFN Media Network and be part of a community that celebrates creativity, authenticity, and positive impact. Let us amplify your voice and share your story on FFN Network and with the world. Get to know our founder, Blaise St. Pierre, the new guy in the media industry. So if you have a great idea for a show or a business and want to place an ad on FFN Network, give us a call at 774-704-5145 or email us at ffnnetwork9@gmail.com and join the FFN Network family. Thank you. FFN Network.
Back here, politicking with Mr. B. What a beautiful evening we got over here. Hopefully it starts cooling off some. We have been going through the heat wave like so many others are doing. And we do know, by the way, that there have been some tornado warnings and tornado watches. And apparently there have been some funnel clouds that have been forming. We do want people to know but they are in our thoughts and will be in our prayers. The people all survive. No one is harmed, and there's as little damage as possible. We do care about the people that are out there. We want to continue on, and hopefully there'll be viewers as well. All right. That having been said, we've got another video lined up for you. I want to warn anybody who has a weak stomach or a weak constitution, please. This may not be something for you to watch, but according to my engineer, he was able to dial this up for us, and he said, give the people a viewer discretion advised warning. So there you are. Viewer discretion is advised. Mr. Blazeman, you want to go ahead and launch the video, please, by all means.
You and your family wake up to an emergency broadcast.
The United States is now in a state of emergency.
Riots erupt, statues are torn down, and the government collapses under the weight of escalating violence. Food shortages and rampant looting lead to widespread panic. Clashes between armed forces break out across the country. Would America ever be able to recover from this kind of devastation? What would happen to the government? And how could you survive the chaos? Well, before we answer that, let's rewind and uncover how we got here. We asked ChatGPT to research and predict how another civil war might unfold in the United States. Now, keep in mind, GPT is just an LLM, a large language model. It's not a sophisticated artificial intelligence, so this simulation isn't perfect. But stick around, we'll also share some survival tips for staying alive in a lawless America. If you want to be prepared for this and other not so unlikely scenarios, make sure to hit that subscribe button. 6 months before the war, the polarization of America has reached new heights. Political speeches have become increasingly inflammatory, with leaders portraying the opposition as existential threats to the nation's future.
Is America headed for a civil war?
Partisan news outlets amplify the polarization by presenting biased interpretations of events and selectively reporting facts. Making things worse, people only get one side of the story on social media. But we already know that. Algorithms designed to maximize engagement increasingly push users toward content that reinforces their existing beliefs. The period leading up to the American Civil War in the 1850s saw a similar intensification of divisions. And although this time the issue isn't about slavery, racism is still a big part of the growing civil unrest. At this point, the best you can do is to stay informed with a reliable source of news. This means you should also look for media outlets outside of social networks. Try to analyze how both sides are spreading information. As the presidential election approaches, accusations of voter fraud and foreign interference spread like wildfire. Political rhetoric and misinformation amplified distrust in the electoral process, leading to widespread calls for
investigation. We have some breaking news we're going to bring to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I hope you're enjoying the video, but we have some breaking news we have to get out to you that has just come across the wires, ladies and gentlemen. The United States House of Representatives passes the bill to ban non-citizens from voting in federal elections.
Have all members voted? Does any member wish to change their vote?
Largely, apparently, divided down party lines. Republican votes 216 yay, Democrats 5 yay.
On this vote, the yeas are 221, the nays are 198. The bill is passed. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The House will be in order. Have all members voted? Does any member wish to change their vote?
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, well, if President Biden goes ahead and vetoes this, it will be proof positive that he intends for non-citizens, illegal aliens that he's letting this pandering to and just spewing out throughout the United States going to allow them to cast votes in elections, and that is absolutely wrong. I believe the House has done exactly the right thing. 508-974-4231. Call us. Let me know what you believe is right in this matter. I'd like Mr. Blazeman. Could you go ahead and put that video back up again? We'll show it about another. Go ahead.
More frequent and more intense. Issues like racial injustice, police brutality, and economic disparities lead to massive demonstrations. And these protests often encounter counter-protests, resulting in violent confrontations. The atmosphere becomes charged with tension as both sides view each other not just as opponents, but as enemies. Pay attention to warnings from local authorities and independent news outlets. Being aware of potential hotspots for violence can help you avoid dangerous situations. 1 week before the war, secessionist movements begin to pop up across the country. States and regions disillusioned with the federal government start declaring their independence. Leaders are torn between using force to prevent the breakup of the country and seeking diplomatic solutions to address the demands of the secessionist states. Supporters of secession see it as a legitimate exercise of self-determination and a way to reclaim their rights and freedoms. Opponents view it as a dangerous path to anarchy and national disintegration. During this time of high tension and violence, it's crucial to keep a low profile. Move quietly and cautiously near conflict areas, avoiding sudden movements that could draw attention, or worse, gunfire. As the crisis deepens, divisions within the military and law enforcement become inevitable. Citizens in these institutions begin to take sides based on their political beliefs and regional loyalties. Some units refuse to obey orders from the federal government, while others remain loyal, leading to a fragmentation of authority and control. This means more violent confrontations. For civilians, the division within the military and law enforcement poses a significant threat. The breakdown of law and order now leads to an increase in crime and violence. And with different factions fighting for control, civilians find themselves caught in the crossfire. Familiarize yourself with escape routes and safe zones. Knowing where to go and how to get there if your current location becomes unsafe will become crucial for your survival. As the federal government loses its authority, paramilitary groups and militias begin to mobilize. These groups, often driven by extremist ideologies or local loyalties, take advantage of the chaos to push their agendas and assert control over territory. Clashes between rival groups from the same state become common, contributing to a growing humanitarian crisis. Civilians face displacement, shortages of food, water, and medical supplies. Human rights abuses are widespread. Make sure to prep a basic emergency kit containing everything you'll need to survive: food, water, and first aid supplies. And steer clear of crowded areas like markets, transportation hubs, and government buildings, all potential targets for an attack. The situation now escalates into a full-scale civil war as opposing sides engage in guerrilla warfare, terrorist attacks, and conventional battles for control of territory and resources. It's an ongoing cycle of violence and retaliation with no clear end in sight. Refugee camps overflow with displaced citizens, and humanitarian organizations struggle to provide aid in the middle of the chaos. Make sure to keep important documents like passports, driver's licenses, and emergency contact information on you at all times. These will be crucial for identification and for getting help in case you're injured or separated from your loved ones. And before you go any further, get a weapon or something to use for self-defense. Even if you're a pacifist, you should be able to fight for your life if necessary. As the conflict drags on, the economic impact starts to show.
I think we've seen
Businesses
just about
across the
enough.
nation are forced to shut their doors. Supply chains, which once provided a steady flow of goods and
This is an excellent video, and it is a profound tutorial. There is a group coming up next that we have, the I-12 GIA group, that can help you prepare for these things and teach you how to do things so that when what we just saw starts coming down the pike, you'll be ready for it, ladies and gentlemen. Mark my words, and thank you very much to our engineer, Mr. Blazeman, for coming up with that item. And we thank them very much, the producers of that item, for allowing us to use their content. Thank you very, very much. We're looking down the gun, down the barrel of exactly what this thing is talking about. There's no question in my mind anymore. Inflation is out of control. People can't afford to get themselves a decent place to live. There are more people living on the streets, and our government is doing what? They're letting other people who don't belong here come in, just rove throughout. There are crimes being committed, heinous crimes against our citizens by people who don't belong here, who came here illegally and are here illegally, as well as people that are known members of suspected terrorist organizations that are running free. Nobody knows where the hell they are, traipsing through somewhere here in the lower 48. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is now. The time is now for you to be preparing, make yourself ready, and to do exactly what needs to be done for the sanctity of yourself and your families. Now, we have had a couple of people that I've interviewed in the last few weeks. Chris Bright, who's running for the Congress. He's a New Hampshire fellow who is running for this the place in New Hampshire, the First District Congressional. And we have Therese Bastarache, who's running for the Executive Council. And both of them, if you have the time, look back at our show. Look for their interviews that you've had. There's some incredible, insightful information there. I'm sure you'll be very, very happy and feel very comfortable with the thought, especially if you're here in New Hampshire, of their candidacy, and be happy to vote for them. I'm trying to get other people who are candidates for these positions so we can have an equal and balanced presentation. But the ball is in their court. I have reached out with several invitations for people to come and be interviewed and spend some time with us. Whether or not they actually do, it's up to them. I've done everything I possibly can. 508-974-4231. If you have an opinion as to what's going on with Joe Biden, whether or not he should back out, please, by all means, give us a call. Love to hear from you. Mr. Blazeman, could you step in here for a minute?
What'd I do?
No, you did. I want to hear from you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the fellow who's the man behind the curtain.
Here you go. Saved by the bell. Gobi.
The man behind the curtain.
Hello. I'm calling into the show.
Hello, caller. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Outstanding. What do you have for us? This is Politicking with Mr. B. Glad to have you. What do you have to say?
Good. How are you? Outstanding. What do you have for us? Oh, I'm on the telephone and there's a lag. So let me try to adjust myself. Hi, Jeff. It's me, Maria from Ithaca.
Oh, my dear.
To the video that I'm responding to the video that you were showing. We have a terrible time here in Ithaca with homeless people, and a situation like you were talking about where the city is trying to clean up a very bad area in town where, you don't want to be and things could happen to you if you went that way. And that's what that video reminded me of. But I wanted to tell you that I do have an opinion about Joe Biden, and I think he should step down. I don't think that you need to fear the fact that he could be replaced. I think the Democrats are a little crazy, a little loopy nuts, and that Cortez woman, she's always trying to impeach someone. The Democrats are, constantly failing at this, failing at that, and then trying to impeach each other and everyone else. It's a little embarrassing, I think. But I think that in the last debate there, Joe just showed that he was not quite all there. And that's a scary thing.
Indeed, absolutely. Now, you are from upstate New York, and in the article that you had mentioned, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who herself is also as flaky as a pie crust of the Pillsbury Bake Off. But moreover, to the civic problems that you have been espousing about the homeless people and about the people trying to get things cleaned up and the crime that's overrunning, do you believe that that Ithaca is recoverable of these things?
I think that Ithaca is trying to deal with things in a way that is unique to Ithaca. What they've done is they've cleared out the homeless encampment that's been affectionately named the jungle here in Ithaca for a long time. But my personal problem with the people that live in the jungle is that they're getting very bold. We actually have beggars on street corners, people holding up signs asking for money, people that will call after you if you're walking down the street and, they want money. Could you have $2? Give me $2. And I really dislike it. It's one of my peeves about Ithaca lately. And it reminds me of the video you were showing. I mean, it feels like an act of violence to me when when I feel afraid to walk to Walmart or walk to the grocery store because I might meet somebody on the street that's going to want something from me. It's hard to deal with, and if you tell them no, you can't have $2, no, you can't have any of my money, they yell at you and they swear at you. It's very nerve-wracking. It's frustrating. The city is trying to erect some kind of housing for them, I think, but those folks are drug addicts and they don't want to do anything. They want to stay where they are and live the way they're living.
One of the worst things that can possibly happen is to create another social program to give something else to these people. You can only give so much.
They could have anything they want. All they have to do is leave their encampment. They could have housing. They could have food stamps. They could have Social Security, I'm sure. I'm sure that the city of Ithaca would be happy to give all that to them. And they want to stay where they are, and they want to be drug addicts. That's what they want, and they prefer to panhandle. It's a big racket in Ithaca. There are people on street corners, with signs that say, "Oh, I'm a disabled veteran," and then they take their fake stuff off and go home, and who knows where they go home to. I mean, it's a big racket here in town.
It's that's something that is absolutely terrible. I'm so sorry to hear what's going on. Ithaca, as I know, used to be an incredible community, a great industrial strength in America, as I recall. I'm so sorry to hear that it has deteriorated that way. Now, isn't there
so big, Jeffrey? It's gotten terribly big, very urban. We have shootings all the time, gunshots, drug dealers. We had shots fired on my street just last night.
Oh, no kidding!
Where I live.
How terrible!
Yeah, it's like the OK Corral, and then drugs got legalized, and it helped a little when they put the dispensaries in town and legalized the marijuana for sale. A lot of that stopped, but we still have the odd report of shooting, like we had one last night on the street where I live, and there are sections of town that are like what you described in the video. I mean, you don't go that way, you don't turn that corner. You stay out of that section. You don't want to live there. And that is when you know a city is in trouble. When there are places in a city where you say, gee, you don't want to live there, then that's wrong. And it's also getting super huge, very, very big. Ithaca is growing bigger than anyone ever expected.
Wow. Wow. I certainly hope that you have something when you go out, you have some means of self-protection. When you go out, do you travel with a friend, I hope, or someone? There is strength in numbers.
No, you know what I did? I got one of those. I'm an older person. I'm not terribly old, but I'm old enough. And I got one of those emergency buttons, like if you fall down or
yes.
something, it calls the police.
Yes.
I love it. It's perfect for my use for walking around town. If anyone were to knock me down, that button would call the police or the ambulance, and help would be sent to my GPS location. If somebody was accosting me, I could push the button and ask them to call the police, and they would. They would know immediately where I am. It's one of the most useful gadgets, I think. You wear it around your neck with the help button.
That's a very proactive way of dealing with that. All right, I'd love to keep talking some more. I hope perhaps you'll call back at a later show, but I have to move on because we've got to go. We've got another show coming up in a few minutes. Thank you so much for your caller. Thank you so much, Maria, for calling in, and we hope you continue listening and watching. God bless you so much. Have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you so much. All right. With that, we've got the I-12 GIA group coming up pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure you're going to be able to have a very good time, find some incredible information. Those guys know what it is and know how to teach, and they know people to understand, how to get them to understand about situational awareness, self protection, self-rescuing, and so forth, and what to look out for, what to look out with, and so forth, and how to keep yourself and your family as safe as you can. We've got a great program again coming up next week. I hope, I can't make a promise right now, but I hope we've got a return guest coming up having to do with another book that they have published. Until then, I can't go on anymore. This has been a wonderful show. Thank you very much for all you folks watching. I certainly hope you like this. Share this. Tell your friends if you don't like this. I'm glad you'll be able to go out and find something else to watch. I'm Mr. B. This has been Politicking with Mr. B, and I want to thank, along with you, Blazeman for all of his work and his work ethics. We will be seeing you all again soon. Have a great night, everybody. Good night.
You have just watched an FFN Network production.